left you in front of the horse. They're charging you. Here they come now. They're not going to stop. Ladies and gentlemen, that deserves a round of applause.
Good afternoon guys, and welcome to today's vlog. Today we find ourselves in Northamptonshire. To be precise, it's Delpre Abbey. We're here for the, I believe it's 1640s reenactment Battle of Delpre Abbey, Northamptonshire. The Sealed Knot, the Roundheads and Cavaliers. It's a very chilled out, relaxed atmosphere, I must say that. Bit long-winded to be honest with you, but very welcoming. Everybody's so knowledgeable, friendly. You couldn't ask for more. Day's not too bad, a bit overcast, but I suppose battles in them days, they just happen whether it rained or sunny. So let's go and have a look at this.
David, this was just familiarisation rather than the show. It's all very low key, mate.
Yes, I know. I'm going to...
The cavalry swords are slightly longer and heavier because they have thick pistols as well. Now, there was a time at the beginning of the Civil War when they used to perform something which was considered to be very brave and manly, and it was the hair of choice of the period for younger men. They wanted to show off how beautiful they were, but make no mistakes, these lovely young men, when they drew their swords out, became characteristics as musket. There is a hole in the top where you pour a little powder in, put the pan over, you pour powder down the barrel, you put the shot down the barrel and wadding to stop the ball from rolling out, and then you cock the hammer back, and the piece of flint that's caught in the serpent will strike as the pan opens, and that will fire. You can also knock somebody out by hitting them on the head with the butt of the gun as well. But you have to be particularly skilled to be able to do that on horseback. Luckily, the rider we have here is particularly skilled at doing many things on horseback. Yes, if you drop your ramrod, you have to get down off the horse to get it, and everybody in the army will start singing. Here it goes. And that is an unfortunate reality of the 17th century as well. Sometimes they work, sometimes they do not. Flints were very unreliable sometimes. If the flint wasn't sharp enough and didn't produce the right spark, it wouldn't go into the pan, it wouldn't ignite the powder. Reprime, he's going to try again.
Harrison, failure, we'll move on to the next pistol.
Food being cooked for the officers and the soldiers at a period of time. Your common soldier wouldn't have been eating like this. These would have been your officers. Looks like meats and turnips, breads, etc. Stew cooking away there in a big pot. I wish there was a scratch and sniff, guys, because this smells absolutely fantastic. But the same effect. This is probably where it all comes from. And here's your breads.
I'll start putting the opposite stuff together. Right.
I said these are officers' food, not your general commoner. Bit of millinery going on. You see the breastplates down there. That's very much associated with my father's armoury. We had a small company years back called Hawker Armouries, and we used to make medieval armour. And a guy called John Nunn, part of the Sealed Knot, very heavily involved in it. He asked if we could create the breastplates and the arm and the leg pieces, because in this period of time they didn't specifically use full armour, is your flak jackets, etc. So we went about making those, and yeah, he got very interested in this. I've still got a brown bess on the wall, which is like a flintlock. This period of time they would have had flintlocks. They also would have had matchlock rifles, which is, instead of the flint, it was like a wick. The wick would be constantly at a slow burn. They would load the gun, and when that connected with the plate, it would ignite the gunpowder, and that's how you get your projectile with your ball. That there is basically to assemble what, there wasn't bars as such out in the field, so they would have taken relays, etc. with them. And you got the music playing. These reenactment groups have been going for decades now. I said my father's generation before that, of the late 60s, 70s, was more medieval, when it went from the era of the sort of the Dark Knights. Before then, you also had the Vikings. You still got the Roman ones. Then you have this lot, these guys who the Sealed Knot. You'll have reenactments of, not so much in this country, but obviously in America, the American Civil War. But I do believe we do that sort of thing, and then we do modern warfare reenactments of like the First and the Second World War. But it's just an interesting look with these people all being period costume, all doing probably what they've learned over generations, moved down from family to family. They got heavily involved in it, and it's a great day out for them, or a weekend. A lot of these would camp overnight, and they would set their stall out and basically do everything as it was back in the day. Even use the same tone of language, eat the same foods. You would not have modern foods over there. It's all cooked to the same way. So the battle was between the Roundheads, which were supporters of parliamentary, and the Cavaliers, which, if you think about those, were predominantly, think of guys that dressed like the Three Musketeers. They were basically your Cavalier sort of characters. The Roundheads would have pretty much had their heads very tightly trimmed, and it became a battle between parliamentarians and royalists. Now this day, with what's going on in the world, I guess we ask ourselves, who would you support? Would you support, then it was King Charles, now it's King Charles, then it was Oliver Cromwell, now it's Richie Sunak. So what party would you follow? I think at the moment I'd be more royalist. It is estimated that well over 200,000 lives were lost in some of these battles. Obviously Cromwell won, and that meant that the king at the time was executed in 1649. That is a stunning tree, and this would have stood at the time of the battle here, the Battle of Northampton, which is why we're here today. You have to forgive the noise of the siren. There shouldn't have been sirens back in the day. It sort of takes it away from reenactment. Don't you burn that.
Oh, I'm trying not to. Oh, if only there was some way of maybe moderating the heat.
No, but if somebody's coming up, you'll do it. Yeah.
Okay.
You learned much today, haven't you?
It appears that there is old wall, old ruins, etc. from where the battle took place here. Like I said, it's not only a reenactment, but it's a historic location of the battle. We're just kind of chilling and slowly waiting for time to pass before, I suppose it's going to be a drill or battle reenactment, which will take place in the next, I guess, half an hour, and then that's pretty much it. But it's a very relaxed day, and sometimes that's just what you need. As I said, this must have been some sort of riverbank area, and I've also said before, these trees, look at the girth of them, they would have survived the battle. Perhaps this is an old riverbank, but there's certainly ruins in amongst it. I don't know what that is over there. That might be a bit more modern, but I'm going to go and have a look anyway. So I'm saying this was an old riverbed. That must have been the lining. Okay, yeah, it just looks like maybe telegraph poles possibly. You know me, if I can find anything with any history in it, I'll certainly look. Do love spotting me wildlife, and here is a cute little bunny over there. We're surrounded by an area with these old dried out riverbanks that's full of warrens, so you know they're about everywhere, but this is the first one we've actually seen. Cute little fella.
basically we're going to go
Armed soldiers into the county convoy assigned within the port that this was about to happen, and they managed to make their escape. But the king, he had to arrest them. If this was going to succeed, they weren't there. And he turned on the Speaker of the House of Commons and said, "Sir, where are the very strong presence in the capital?" Charles overnight decided that there was nothing left for him to do. He had to leave the country. Well, he had to leave the city, and he had to go north into the country, and he had to use the king entry. So consequently, the king turned south and went to a place that he knew he had the royal support, and that was the city of Nottingham. And in August of 1642, he did the unthinkable. He raised the royal standard above the city of Nottingham, and by doing so he declared war on his own parliament. Now when this happened, Northampton declared immediately for parliament. There was a 500-strong town militia, and they were mobilised to help defend the city. And on the 20th of August 1642, 600 of the townsfolk started to work on strengthening the defences of the town, which had fallen into some disrepair. To put it into perspective, this is one of the most dreadful things that can happen to a country. A split right down, and it's not a very civil war, it's a very uncivil war. But at first, nobody wanted to fight. The first battles were almost bloodless. But bit by bit, an influence started coming back into the country. Those soldiers from both sides who had fought in the 30 Years' War, the wars of religion on the continent, and for the Dutch Republic against the Spanish. These were hardened, seasoned veterans. These were men who knew what real warfare was like, and they brought with them a sensibility that you don't go out just to scare another army away. You go out to annihilate them, to destroy their forces so comprehensively that they will never trouble you again. Bit by bit, that reality would start taking over in the English Civil War. General Monk, one of the generals who had fought so vociferously on the side of Parliament, but until that happens, it's 1642, war has just been declared, and now we are going to be having a look at the men who are going to fight this not very civil war. Musketeers loading and firing by instruction. 4 muskets, and they are fired by a piece of match being dipped into a pan. But there are some musketeers here who have a flintlock musket. Now these were useful for so many different reasons. Anywhere near a powder store, you wanted a flintlock, not a matchlock.
Open your pan!
The pan is at the top of the musket, and you can see it's been opened there to reveal a small bowl shape.
Clean your pan!
You have to clear out the pan, make sure there's no burning embers or coals, as they used to call them, from the previous firing.
Handle your primer!
The primer is in a small flask. That will be primed into that top part of the musket, and that will be the ignition for the gun.
Prime your pan!
So we put a bit in there.
Close your pan!
They close the pan over, then make sure that the powder stays where it's supposed to.
Cast off loose powder!
They have to do that to make sure there's no powder on top of it, so when they test the match, it doesn't ignite.
Powder! Cast about and trail your musket!
Now they're going to actually load the musket down the barrel.
Handle your charge! Open your charge! Charge with powder, ball and wad!
The powder goes down, then the 1.5 ounce weight shot goes down, and then some wadding to stop it from rolling out of the barrel should the musket be pointed downwards.
Handle your scouring stick! Withdraw your scouring stick! Reverse and shorten your scouring stick! Ram ho!
The scouring stick is put down inside the barrel, and it rams all the things down together.
Draw your scouring stick. Reverse and shorten your scouring stick. Return your scouring stick.
Now it's important that they do this for the simple reason they don't want to leave the scouring stick down inside the musket.
Handle your match. Blow on your coals.
Blowing on the coals means to keep that match burning. It soaks in saltpetre and burns very slowly.
Try your match.
There is a little X on the top of the pan, and that's where you actually get the term X marks the spot.
Face to your right about.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, before they give the command to fire, I should tell you this is going to be quite a loud noise. Do not stick your fingers in your ears. Worst thing you can do. Cup your hands over your ears and slightly open your mouth, and that will dissipate any shockwave that comes out. But it is going to be a loud noise. If you've got any pets, make sure they're okay. Any babies or husbands in a nervous disposition, keep hold of their little hands. Gentlemen, when you're ready. Have a round of applause, please, for that. That was very well done indeed. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a loud noise, and it's not me. That was very well done. He's a junior officer, but also one of the toughest of the men of the regiment, because they have to defend the colours. We'll be talking more about the colours in a short while. But now we're going to see the pikemen, and how the pikemen were trained just as hard in a weapon that was, in some ways, just as difficult to use and used correctly.
I used to wind my dad up years ago and call them the pointed stick.
The pike, as you can see, is 18 foot long. It's got the top 2 foot is tipped with steel, and there is a steel sleeve down either side to stop cavalry from cutting that tip off the pike. They are wearing armour, unlike the musketeers who have no defence against musket bullets coming towards them. They are wearing armour, and they have a back and a breastplate and a pot, a helmet on their heads. And this is a throwback to the times of the medieval foot soldiers, where they were armoured from head to foot. By now, of course, the only thing that you can see is the pikemen wearing these sets of armour, and also officers wearing a thing called a gorget. Officers also, a simple thing, just putting the pike down on the ground by the right foot.
Lay down your pike.
You notice they put the pike butt into the foot and then lower the pike down to stop it from slipping.
Handle your pike.
Now to handle the pike, they turn their hand round the reverse way, take hold of the end,
Recover your pike to the order.
and now they recover their pike in 3 moves back to the order. But you could also recover to the advance or even to the charge if circumstances require you to do so. This was a good way of carrying a pike.
Your pike.
Training the pike was normally used when pike infantry was going through a wooded area, or sometimes in a town area where buildings would overhang as well. So this was a necessary thing that they had to learn how to do.
Your pike.
And they had to be able to go into the charge very quickly. Now that pike is pointed at your face, ladies and gentlemen. It's the only unarmoured part of you, and they're jabbing you in the face. Very unpleasant.
Advance your pike.
Anyone at the moment thinking Dad's
You notice they're all equipped
don't
with a
tell
short
him,
sword
boy.
and infantry hanger. Not much use. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very difficult thing to do properly. You have to be able to train these men to do these things without even thinking about it. And that's the same with infantry all the way through history. The best infantry are the ones who train and train and train and train and then train again. Once you think you've learned it all, you go back to the beginning and you really dig in and you make sure that you know this in your sleep. And it won't take off a rider from his horse. I regret to say, ladies and gentlemen, they're not aiming for the rider. They're aiming for the breastbone of the horse. You kill the rider, another rider can be found. You kill the horse, and that's one cavalry unit dealt with. It's the rather horrid mathematics of war, I'm afraid, and thousands of horses were killed in that fact. And the first call we're going to hear is Beat the Call. The next call is Beat the Voluntary and March. The next call, Beat the Troop. In the traditional sense, this is a retreat in good order. Now you can see the markings, the diamond-shaped markings. That indicates the number of the captain's company. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That is a very difficult thing to do. I know, I'm an MC myself. It is a very, very difficult thing to do properly. The colours are made of silk, they're hand-painted.
It's very, very windy, guys. He's doing a fantastic job.
And the wind has got the better of him, but ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause please for MC. Oh, yeah, sorry, we're going to fire again. Did I say that too late? So sorry. Now this is a way that they actually had in the 17th century of standing their ground but firing. So they would fire, one rank would fire, they would then retire to the back and reload, the next rank would come up, but they would stay in the same basic location. So much going on that the soldier has been trained so that he just keeps on firing, or he keeps hold of his pike and waits for the order to fire. And this formation that you see here, musket block on one side of the pike and musket block on the other, that was the traditional way of fighting. Now, of course, we're just a very small section of people doing this here, but imagine if you were at the Battle of Edge Hill, where there were thousands of musketeers, thousands of pikemen, hundreds of horses, 20, 30 artillery pieces. Imagine the size and the scope of a battle of that size. Imagine what it would be like to watch an army marching. people really do know what they're doing, and it's a pleasure to commentate on people who know what they're doing. Okay, now they are saluting, and we are the best after all, so... Ladies and gentlemen, one last time, here's a round of applause please for the members of the English Civil War Society at the 17th century artillery. Now, artillery had an interesting birth, because the first guns to be used by English forces was at the Battle of Crecy in 1390, scared the hell out of cavalry for a start, so that was good. But eventually, these would divide up into two things. One, the muskets that you've just seen the infantry using, so the gun would get smaller, it would get lighter, it would become a hackbutt, a harquebusier, and then a musket, a smoothbore musket, a flintlock musket, and the flintlock would rule supreme from the end of the 17th century onward. And the other way was this way, the artillery. Now we have two types of gun here. The first is a robinet, and that's the one on the red. They will basically whiz through the air, and then they will hit infantry. Then the infantry would cease to exist. It was that powerful. They could blow huge swathes through blocks of powder inside, and that will mean that the powder charge on the top will ignite the powder in the bag inside, and when they're ready to fire, you'll see both hands going up saying that they're both ready to fire. And the master gunners have linstocks, and these hold.
Okay guys, that's going to do it for today's vlog. I hope you've enjoyed it. Something a little bit different. You know, I'm always trying to test the boundaries, bring you some sort of different content all the time that's on the quirky side. That certainly fitted the bill. This was the Battle of Northampton. I've enjoyed myself. It was a very chilled and relaxed day. Everyone was super friendly, super knowledgeable, and yeah, did you have a good time?
It was good.
It was good. So that's all that matters. We've had a day out. It hasn't cost a lot. I think it was £8 each to get in. I had a pint of Ghost Ship. Rachel had a Diet Coke. That comes to £4. 2 coffees actually come to £8. Make of that what you will. And the people in the beer tent were absolutely fantastic, full of banter and chat, and then we had a good time. So with that guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will see you in the movies. Bye for now.